I've been sitting here clicking around trying to get this YouTube live thing to work, and I think it's working. I have no fucking idea. 1 second. Well, I've been clicking the mouse for the last 45 minutes trying to get this thing to work, and I think I figured it out. I think we're live streaming on the YouTubes, which would be pretty cool. Let's now see. Okay. I wonder if I can click here and then go to here, and we should be able to. Holy shit! It looks like it's working. Open. Okay, so this is obviously the back end. Now I wonder where I can find the link to it. Okay. So we're gonna get into the charts here in a second if I can figure out the link, so I can share the link. Oh, someone's already in here. What up? So I'm just messing around with the YouTube, trying to figure out how I can share the link. So let me jump on the Discord real quick and holler at my peeps to see if I can get some of them to join in. So, give me 1 second. Sorry about that. This is literally happening as we speak. So, what up, T? What up? What up, all you guys? I'm just sending this out. I've never live traded. This is the very first time. So we're gonna see if we can get this going. So this is kind of a, in the making. So okay, there it is, right? So I got some chats on here. YouTube is not. I don't know what the hell is going on, but I apparently. Can you guys see my video okay, and you guys can hear me? You put it in the chat. It says an error. YouTube is not something. Connection error. Current viewers too. Okay, well, I mean, I guess we're here. So let's just do the damn thing. All right. So let's look over. Hopefully this is working. Let's look over NASDAQ. I know you guys want to see here and you want to see the chart. So let's get to it, right? So we had news come out just a few minutes ago. It obviously hasn't moved the market much. I'm expecting us to get a lot of consolidation until the Fed rate decision comes out and the Fed chair speaks, right? So let's look at the NASDAQ. So as you know, we had an entry from up here. I took partials and I had by TP2 and I got out of it. I actually came down here and took some scalps. I was expecting a bounce off this 38.2, which is also this breaker block. And there's some fibs inside of this area. So I took a couple of scalps and caught a few more pips. And then I called it a day because we had a hell of a trade off this very, very, very top. Congratulations for all those guys who actually held it. And if you guys held that, then fucking kudos to you. So I know that I saw some other quote unquote guru, professional traders, mentors out there who are calling buys in this area. But look, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. We do not buy unless liquidity has been taken, or sell or enter the market. So this is where liquidity was. It got taken. Then it gives us a reason to use our fibs to look for a trade in the opposite direction. Why the hell would be trying to buy right here, unless you're doing what I was doing and scalping, buy right here because there is no liquidity. Okay. Where is liquidity? Liquidity's here and liquidity's right here. So why the hell would these other people be calling out buys? Every single one of them called out buys got smashed. That's the difference between someone who knows how to trade and someone who's just trying to sell a course. Okay? Know the difference. Where's liquidity? Down here, down here. The only time you can get into a buy in this situation right here, and they're thinking, oh, it's so aggressive and it broke this and this and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? There's no liquidity. The only time you can get into a buy is when there's no other structure over here and it just takes off. Then maybe you could find a small pullback and then pop it, right? So let's just look at that example real quick and throw some knowledge on y'all before we actually mark up the chart. You see how this came down and this then, your audio is dropping out for me randomly. Well, I think it's, yeah, there's obviously a little bit of delay. I'm not sure if it's in the mic. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to work on that because this is the first time I've ever doing it. So I have to like go in here, look at the settings and look at the latencies and look at all this shit. So thanks guys for just being here. And so let's do this before I go off on a random talking about strategy. Let's just look at the charts, and if you guys want to get off, that's cool with me. Do whatever you got to do, but let's just look at the chart. So then my buy zone is down here. Okay, the reason why I'm buying is we fib top to bottom. Okay, and then we also on the second leg of the Elliott wave. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know. With the mic. So maybe I'll stop talking and just start doing this. And you can see more. We're on the third leg of the Elliott wave, and we completed it. I think we got a little bit more to come down because you have the 61.8 right here, which is a TP extension. And you have the 78.6, which is on the fib on the buy up. Okay. So I think we have a little bit more to come down. We are starting to see divergence. But let's see if we can't get one more push down as this breaks below and give us one more divergent push here. Okay, so with news coming out, this could mess around here for a few minutes and then give us a wick and then pop off. So we're looking for this area here. US 30, there's really nothing to be had. You can try to buy here. I would not do that because that is liquidity. I would try to buy US 30 down below at the 88.6. That's why I have a blue line drawn there. 38096 or about that area, maybe go up just a little bit higher. Let's say in this area would be the entry point. And if you also look, that's the top. That's the top. Broke through. It also used that area as resistance. And so that is a good area for me. And it lines up to our fibs. And it's also the 78.6 is the top of the breaker block, if you see this here. Man, I don't know, T. I see what you're saying here, and the mic, the desktop audio, video capture, display capture. So maybe if I turn off that, maybe that'll save up some bandwidth. It looks to me on my end like everything looks good to go. My CPU usage is quite high, so maybe I should turn off some of this other stuff, perhaps. Give me 1 second. Let me close down. If I have anything else open. Okay, maybe I shut some stuff down to give my CPU some a little bit of breathing room. So it's coming down 64, 68. So yeah, maybe I'll have to work on that. Again, my very first YouTube stream ever live. So I'm just trying to figure out all these settings and shit. So I was working on it for quite a while before I jumped on here. US 30. If you can hear me, at least you can hear me. I'm not looking to buy US 30 until 38,111. 38,111. You can fib that top to bottom. That's the 88.6. That's also support and resistance. Okay, NASDAQ, like we already said, we're looking for a bigger dip. Looking for the 176. 176, that's about the area where I'm going to start looking. Again, this is not financial advice. This is just for training. And let's look at Goldie real quick. So we smashed a gold trade yesterday. Video just started. Okay. Well, hopefully you can at least hear me, you know. So we smashed that gold trade yesterday, but look what it hasn't set a new low. Okay, so this is not done. This gold trade sales are not done. I think it's going to come back up one more time and give us the 2050 entry. So again, I have sell limits at 2050 on gold. My stop loss is 20. I give 60 pips, 2056, which is right above the top of this block right here. So sell limit 2050, stop loss 2056, TP down here 2007. I'm looking for that trade because if we can catch it up here and then it breaks this trend line, it's adios amigos. I'm still in the short from yesterday. I have a runner. I took 90% off of my trade and I booked that. It was a hell of a trade. And yeah, so hopefully you guys can hear me better. I don't think I have a limit on US 30, but if I was to set a limit, I'd set it at 38111. And then of course your stop loss would be around the 38,000 flat area. NASDAQ, I do have a limit on NASDAQ. I believe my first entry is right here at 17184. Again, my stop loss is down here at 16991. I have that limit already set. So I have two limits going. I got a gold limit on a sell and I have a NAS limit on a buy. We'll see what happens. I've managed my risk. I've set the lot size correctly. And if they hit, it hit. We're looking for this thing to screw around and diddle daddle till news. Maybe news comes, we get a wick down and then shoot off to the moon. If we lose that trade, we'll probably lose it quick. They'll probably just sink all the way down and come way down here, which is cool. Whatever. I didn't over leverage. And I'm taking half the profit that I made yesterday and risking on that trade. So that's a little bit larger than a position that I would normally take. But again, if we're trying to, use a little bit of the profit that we made yesterday to add a little extra sauce on this trade, so hopefully we can really level up. Okay. US 30 again, sitting on my hands in US 30, and gold, we're looking for another sell at the 2050, or it just melts from here and we're already still have a runner. Best case for us is that it pops up, knocks me out of my runner, gets me back in at 2050 at a full position, and then melts. It is what it is. Since you guys are chatting on here, how is the video? Is it coming through clear? The audio coming through clear now? Is it working a little better that I've closed some stuff down? My CPU usage is still at 81%, so perhaps I need to go buy a better computer. And if that's the case, I'll fucking buy one tomorrow. I don't care. If it's not going to work correctly, then all good. Thanks. Oh, thanks, man. So shout out to everyone who's in the chats with me. I really appreciate that. This is the very first live trade, and as long as it's working correctly, we'll keep it rolling with this. If it doesn't and it starts screwing up and you guys are getting frustrated with it, we'll exit. We'll go back to the chats. I'll send out a Zoom link and we'll do it that way. It's whatever works best. I'm still working out the bugs on this. Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, exactly, Colin. I gotta start somewhere, my brother. Y'all know we've been smashing these trades. Thanks for stopping by. That's what I'm looking for today. I can see you guys' chats in here. If y'all have any chats or any other charts, I think yesterday someone said EJ, and we're looking. Yeah, see, look, EJ that was the entry right there. So these fib levels, guys, that I show are no joke, dude. These things are legit. This is the order block. You fib this move top to bottom because we had no decent retracement, so that's how you know. This is just giving us a flag, right? What do they call that? This would be technically a bull flag. Okay, there it is. And here's your flagpole, bull flag, 78.6. Now another reason why you think this is a flag is because this isn't a V shape, right? If this up here was the true top. If this was the true top, it would have came up and it would have came down. Okay? When it does this diddle daddle back and forth BS, you know that it has not got liquidity yet. That is not the top. Sorry, I'm messing around here. Control Z to get rid of all this stuff. Okay, right? So there it is. So we know that this is just a flag. Now it come back and hit our 78.6 perfectly. What it do? Here's internal structure. It broke internal structure. It now set a higher low, and it's about to break this. So the only way you can get into this trade now, again, is just to break out your handy dandy fibs. You could have measured this and popped the 61.8. If you also come down here and look at the 61.8, you would have seen there's like a consolidation area. There's some blocks here, and then it kind of broke from there. Anyways, even if you would have taken the 61.8 and instead of the 78.6, your risk is not that much compared to taking a 78.6 here and your stop loss down there. So now that you've gotten into the smaller time frames and you think this thing's going to turn around, you don't have as much risk. So do the same thing on this one. Okay. Wait for this to set a new high, wherever that new high may be. Right. Take this out and now enter down here, and then your stop loss would be, much lower. So the market is starting to give you confirmations that it's turning around. You have this trend line on top, which is about to get broken. Okay. Let's see if it gives us a little pullback. Well, we'd like to first see if this sets a high. Okay, we'd like to first see this. See this right here get broken. So a high, then we can measure the pullback, and then we could pop it. Your TP is going to be at least this, right? At least that. But really, you want it to set right here. This needs to hit the extension. So if we zoom back out to like a 2 hour and we reset these charts, you'll see that it needs to at least come, up to the extension. Continue on the trend. Now, I know a lot of people are, so my people will look at this and say, well, look, dude, it broke trend right here. It's going to start selling off. But it really hasn't broken trend. That is an internal move. It really hasn't broken trend until it breaks this low right there. Okay? Because not only, this is giving you an indication that things are turning around. That's okay. But in the scheme of things, low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher, and it's just setting a higher low. All right, it hasn't truly broke that trend. And if we come out to, let's say, a little higher time frame to the 8 hour, perhaps the trend line is really down here. Okay, perhaps the trend line is really something more like this, or even like this. You could even tighten it up and say, okay, well, there's the trend line. But I'd be more tempted to do one of these or one of these. All right, so it's not there yet. This is just internal structure. Right, the real marker, the real swing point is either this one or this one. And me personally, I say this one. Okay, so how do we know? How do we know that's the real swing marker? Well, look, dude, we break out the fibs again. On a higher time frame, these fibs structure like this works really well. Here's the top, okay, bottom to top on the first one. There's your retracement. So you start another fib. Bottom to top. There's your, that's not a 50%. Uh-oh, I can hear the baby awake. But it is holding these levels. So it didn't give us a full 50%, which is a bummer. I would really like to in this situation. So normally I would tell you to keep dragging this up, and it still hasn't hit 50%, and you drag this up and it still hasn't hit 50%. But even if it does, right? If it does come down here and hit 50%, that's just setting a double bottom. Okay, and if we did take that trade at this 78.6, our stop loss was below that double bottom. So again, we're still in a good. You're still good. If you would have taken that trade, your stop loss would have been right there. So even if this does want to come down and set a double bottom, it hadn't hit your stop loss yet. All right. So I like to come down into a little. Now, once you have like the idea what the market's doing, I like to come down to a smaller time frame and then look. This was the bottom. It popped and hasn't came back. We'll just use that one. Okay. You can move these fibs around. It's not always set in stone concrete. I'm just trying to read the chats right here. Still delay. Wouldn't miss one. Just wish I could hear everything. Man, I don't know what's up. Maybe, I don't know if anyone else is having microphone or speaker problems. I don't see anything else in the chat. So we'll work on it, man. I'll try to figure this out. Maybe like one of these days I'll get with the Discord group and we'll just like, hey, I'm gonna do a YouTube and let's just fucking work on the bugs, GJ, I haven't looked at GJ today, and so we're still good. So on GJ, we're still in way up here. Yeah, thanks, Fausto. Appreciate you guys. So we're still up here on GJ's. I think Fausto asked last night if he could get back in. How does he get into this GJ trade? Well, you're coming up on it right now, buddy. You see how this is liquidity like we talked about? And guess what it's doing right now? It's breaking the liquidity like we said. And maybe we just need to get a little bit more of a push. As you can see, we're not overbought on the RSI, so it has some room to come up. So for anyone who's not in the GJ swing trade, here is your opportunity. Probably coming up the next hour or two. Let this come on up. And if it doesn't come up right now, then it's okay. Just be patient. We still think that's going to come on up, and this move here needs to hit TP, which is right inside of our sell zone, which is top to bottom on this fib here, and we continue on with that. Yeah, EJ. Yeah, EJ was in the middle of nighttime. This is where your limits. So once you get tight with your fibs and once you get tight with the way the market flows, if you're one of those guys who has to work a day job and can't sit on the charts all day long, use your limits. All right, use your notifications on your phone, on TradingView, and or you can do it the same thing on MetaTrader, and do it that way. Get everything set up, know where your limits are, know where the liquidity is, and set your warnings or your limits. And this would be a perfect example. Set a limit right here at the 78.6. Make sure that your risk is adjusted properly and you're not over leveraging in case you miss it. But you're willing to accept that trade because everything matches up. We're getting up here on the RSI. If this gets higher, being right. Go live your day. Go you live your day. I personally, especially on the NAS, US 30, and the gold, whatever, I will use limits. I'm using one right now because sometimes this can happen so fast, but I do prefer manual entries because the one thing that a limit does not allow you to do is if this just takes off and you're watching it live, you're like, well, maybe I should enter or sell right now because look at this thing just going berserker. Or limit, you don't have that. It's going to hit whether you're watching it or not. So sometimes you can get burned on limits just because you can't manually watch the action, right? But for anyone who's just joining in, I have a limit on NAS right about here, 37,173 area, probably right at the 78.6. I'm expecting this second leg to hit TP down here, and then this is also our buy zone or our buy up. So I have a limit in case news wants to wick us, and I'm not paying attention. On gold, on US 30, I'm not really doing anything yet because we still need this liquidity to get taken. So my buy zone is down here where this blue line is at 38,111. We're just sitting on our hands waiting to see what news does. There's nothing to the left. This is all-time highs. We have no structure. The only thing we can do is buy. So we need a good retracement down, take this liquidity out before we buy. It's the only play. That's it. Anything else is gambling. And then on Goldie, we're waiting for this to push up and either two things. It hits a 78.6 here and just melts. Very, very possible. I'm still in a short from way, way up here. This perfect entry we called yesterday. I have a runner. I took the majority of the profit off when it got down here. This still has lots of room to sell off because of all this liquidity in this trend line. And that did not set a new lower low, so it's not done grabbing liquidity. Okay, that's not the full liquidity grab because it would have just kept melting. So this will push back up, in my opinion. I think we're going to get knocked out on this runner, and it'll get into our sell zone, which is right at 2050. So I do have a limit on 2050. I have my stop loss at 60 pips, 2056. Give me a little bit of breathing room, and if it hits 2056, then guess what? It's going to clear out this liquidity and come up here and find some resistance, which is probably way up here, and we'll have to reevaluate. So if I miss that trade, I'm not going to chase it because I know the target then is up here at 2064, and I'm not setting a 164 pip, 100, yeah, whatever it is. Too much, right? I'm not going to set a stop loss at 160 pips, 140 pips. So we're good. We'll take this swing at the back right here at 2050. I'll give it 60 pips. I've managed my risk accordingly. And if it hits, it hits. It doesn't, it doesn't. Whatever. I'm not going to cry over it. So that's the way we got to go into it. And with the news is this afternoon, this markets could do a lot of crazy stuff. And if the Fed comes out with an interest rate decision that is the same, or I highly doubt they're going to lower interest rates. But if they do that, this thing is going to fucking fly, right? NASDAQ and US 30 is going to fly. But you can expect some sort of wicks at the beginning. So this is what people. Some people who don't really understand the Fibonacci's, they'll say, oh, the market news is crazy. It's this wick. You see that big wick and it turns around and goes the opposite direction. Well, that wick is just getting to the fib zone that it needs to get to. So if you see this wick come out and it wicks all the way like, oh my God, look at that big wick. It's tanking and you get in early. It's just, 150 pips in 10 seconds, whatever. It's just because it's coming down here to hit the fib zone. So it's very important to, when you look, you have news like this, to back out. Make sure your fibs are in the right areas. Make sure they make sense. This is an order. This is a little block here where there's some sell orders before it continues to pop off. There's a reason for the market to come here. It's in our fib. You know, I'm not predicting that it's going to hit this 88.6 perfectly, but if it does do that, I'm not surprised. Okay. So sometimes we just got to take a zoom out. That's 156 pips. Now, where's the next fib zone after that? Down here? Well, I highly doubt it's going to wick us, you know, way down here and then pop off. I'm not worried about it coming all the way down here. So what it might do, it might come up and get us up into